I just had an amazing conversation with one of my coaching clients. And I think something they said is very important, which is that many of us don't plan for life. We don't really kind of think about where we are going in life or how we're going to get there. And the funny thing is, like, we plan for lots of things in life. You know, we plan our workout when we go to the gym. We plan what we're going to eat. We plan a night out, plan a weekend, plan a holiday. We don't, you know, but we don't plan our life. It's crazy, isn't it? It's amazing how little energy we kind of spend thinking about, you know, what we're going to be doing a year from now compared with, you know, the full itinerary of, you know, our weekend sightseeing tour. It's like, and what's great about the client I was chatting with is that, you know, he has started to reverse engineer his life. So from our sessions, what we began to do was kind of paint a picture of what he wants out of life, you know, where he wants to be, who he wants to be with, how he wants to spend his time. And then we kind of work back from there. You know, once we had that design for life, like, everything became easy. Like, his goals and objectives, they all just aligned. Suddenly he had like a purpose and he had like a why. You know, he suddenly knew why he was going to work and why he was doing the things he was doing. And he also found an immense sense of gratitude. He became grateful for what he has, which is quite unexpected, isn't it? Because I think very often, you know, when we're trying to think about the future and we're trying to make a design for life, we can pull ourselves out of the present and we can end up hoping and wishing for things that we don't yet have, or relationships we don't have, you know, property that we don't have, wealth that we don't have, fitness that we don't have. You know, very often, you know, it's easy just to get caught in that trap of basically feeling bad about the things we don't have that we want, and then by thinking about that we're not really getting ourselves any closer. In fact, it's quite overwhelming because we start to think, shit, how am I ever going to get those things? You know, how am I ever going to get to that place? But I think actually, I think something quite magical happens when we design our life, the life that we want. I think we have an agency. We have this sense of like control, you know, a feeling that, oh yes, I am the master of my own destiny. And yes, this life is malleable and I can change it and maneuver it in a way that I want, so that, you know, I feel like I'm adding value to this life and that I have a purpose. And in doing so, counterintuitively, we can then start to reflect on all the things that we already have right now. Things that absolutely do not need to change. You know, we become grateful for those things that we have already earned, for the investments that we've already made. We start to see things in a different light and start to realise, oh wow, actually, okay, these things might have happened by accident. And maybe I didn't design the life that I'm in right this minute, but there's so many things in my life that I'm grateful for. You know, there's friendships that I've invested in for years. there's a job, a responsibility that I've put energy into. There's a home that I've created, and that feels bloody good. It feels fulfilling. And the great thing is, you can take these things with you. That's the beauty. It doesn't have to be binary. It's not like an either or. It doesn't have to be like, oh right, okay, yeah, well, if I design this new life, then that's it. I have to like wipe the slate clean and kind of begin again. And I think, sadly, lots of societal influences would have you believe that. It's a good story, isn't it? It's a Hollywood script, to sort of wipe the slate clean, go back to zero, have nothing, rags to riches, build it all up again. Almost like break and remake yourself. It's romantic, but it's not real. It doesn't happen like that. There's so much more wealth and depth in your life than you give yourself credit for. And those things haven't happened by accident. They haven't been manufactured, they haven't been engineered, but they haven't happened by accident. They've happened because you care and because you've put your energy into those things. And now you're sat there and you've got relationships, you've got health, you've got wealth. And now it's compounding, it's doubling down on the investments that you want to keep. Stopping the things that you don't want anymore. And then starting the things that are going to get you from where you are right now to the life that you've designed. And so I think as I began this video talking about this idea that having a design for life, very often it's not that we have to consciously sit down and plan. It's actually that through coaching and through conversations about identity, values, relationships, health, wealth, what happens is that our design for life reveals itself. It's always there. It's inside you and it's unique to you. Nobody else will have that design for life. And I think what I can help with, and I think what I enjoy most about coaching, is helping people to reveal what's already there. And so if you would like to join me in coaching, then click the link below. We'll have a 1 hour session just to learn more about each other and find out whether or not we could work together and whether or not I could add value to where you are now.